The 1950s. A decade draped in chrome and crowned with confidence. Post-war America was roaring to life. Industries flourished, families grew, and a new kind of freedom emerged on four wheels. But these weren't just vehicles anymore. They were expressions of ambition, artistry, and raw, unrestrained power. This was the dawn of America's love affair with speed. And while the term muscle car hadn't yet been etched into our vocabulary, the seeds were already being sown in thundering V8s, in experimental fuel delivery systems, in horsepower figures that seemed impossible at the time. Today, we take you on a ride back in time, a countdown of 12 American monsters from the 1950s that pushed the limits of street performance before anyone even dared call them muscle cars. These weren't just ahead of their time, they were machines you were never really meant to tame. Number 12. 1958. Dodge D500. Quiet. Underrated. Ferocious. The 1958 Dodge D500 didn't shout about its power, but those who knew. This wasn't just another full-sized family hauler, it was a street-legal storm bred directly from Dodge's stock car racing DNA. Underneath its long hood lay a 361 cubic inch V8 that churned out 320 horsepower. But with optional dual carburetors and free-breathing exhaust, that number only climbed higher. More importantly, Dodge didn't stop at the engine. The D500 came with upgraded suspension, stronger brakes, and a fortified chassis, all tuned for high-speed stability. Its design was pure 1950s flair, forward-look styling, exaggerated tail fins, and a stance that said, "Try me." But make no mistake, this wasn't just about aesthetics. This car was born to run. Whether on the NASCAR circuit or blasting down a country highway, the D500 delivered power with purpose. In an era when performance was still hiding beneath chrome and white walls, the Dodge D500 stepped out of the shadows and roared. Number 11. 1959. Oldsmobile, 98. Holiday, rocket-powered royalty. By the end of the decade, Oldsmobile had fully embraced America's obsession with the space race, and no car embodied that spirit better than the 1959 Oldsmobile 98 Holiday. Its name said it all: comfort, distance, and style for those with wanderlust and horsepower in their hearts. Powered by a 394 cubic inch rocket V8, the 98 delivered a solid 315 horsepower, enough to move this full-size beast with surprising urgency. The design screamed optimism: rocket-shaped taillights, angled fins, and a grille that looked like it belonged on a spacecraft. But underneath the theatrics was a cruiser that could really go, thanks to a hydromatic transmission and abundant torque. With over 4,500 pounds to carry, it wasn't light, but it was built for the big, open American road, and it delivered a smooth, powerful ride that lived up to the promise of its space-age name. Number 10. Ford Thunderbird Supercharged. By 1957, Ford was ready to throw down. The Thunderbird had already earned its stripes as a personal luxury car, but then came a twist: the factory supercharged version, a machine that married elegance with aggression in spectacular fashion. Stuffed beneath the hood was a 312 cubic inch V8, boosted by a McCulloch-Paxton belt-driven supercharger. The result? A cool 300 horsepower. But it wasn't just power. It was smooth, relentless torque delivered with sophistication. Ford didn't go the route of high-tech fuel injection like Chevy. They just strapped a supercharger on and let the V8 breathe fire. The 57 Thunderbird got a subtle design refresh too: sharper lines, round tail lights, and a cabin bathed in chrome, leather, and jet-age flair. The removable hardtop was optional, but what wasn't optional was the performance. This car was Ford's answer to the Corvette, and it did so with effortless style. Though built in limited numbers, the supercharged T-Bird would go on to become one of the most coveted sleepers of its time, a muscle-bound cruiser in a tailored suit. Number 9. Chevrolet Corvette Fuelie. It was a revolution on wheels. That's when Chevrolet unveiled a version of the Corvette that made jaws drop across the country. Nestled under its fiberglass skin was something extraordinary: the Rochester Ramjet fuel injection system, a piece of futuristic tech that delivered exactly 283 horsepower from a 283 cubic inch V8. That's 1 horsepower for every cubic inch, a perfect ratio, unheard of at the time. This wasn't just engineering brilliance, it was a statement. While the competition was still fiddling with carburetors, the 57 Corvette leapt into a new era of speed and precision. With jet-age curves, dual headlights, and that unmistakable pointed nose, it looked like it was doing 100 even while parked. But it wasn't just for show. This car could sprint from 0 to 60 in under 6 seconds. For the 1950s, that was lightning. It wasn't just America's sports car. It was the ignition spark for a performance movement. Number 8, 1957, Pontiac Bonneville, the rebirth of a brand. 1957 wasn't just another year for Pontiac. It was a reckoning. A moment where the brand stepped out of the shadows of GM's hierarchy and declared, loud and clear, "We belong in the fast lane." And leading that charge? The breathtakingly rare Pontiac Bonneville. With just 630 units built, this wasn't a mass-market cruiser. It was a halo car, a symbol of rebirth, exclusivity, and ambition. Beneath its glimmering two-tone skin was serious innovation. Like the Corvette of the same year, the Bonneville came armed with Rochester fuel injection, a futuristic system few dared to explore. It transformed its 347 cubic inch V8 into a 310 horsepower powerhouse, making it one of the most potent production cars of its time. This machine wasn't all muscle, though. It was sophistication in motion. A high-dramatic transmission, dual-leaf rear suspension, and effortless cruising manners made it as smooth as it was fast. And visually, pure jet-age swagger. Thick chrome spears, a bold grille, and sculpted rear quarters gave it presence. This wasn't a rebadged Chevy. It was Pontiac staking its claim to performance glory. The 1957 Bonneville lit the fuse for the brand's muscle-bound future. Number 7, 1955 Chrysler C300, the banker's hot rod. If Detroit had a gentleman's street brawler in the mid-50s, it was the 1955 Chrysler C300, the car that launched Chrysler's legendary letter series and shattered expectations. Under the hood, a 331 cubic inch Hemi V8, straight from Chrysler's Imperial racing program. Dual 4-barrel carburetors, a high compression ratio. The result? 300 horsepower flat, a figure that for the era bordered on insanity. This wasn't a marketing gimmick. The C300 proved itself on the track, winning an astonishing 37 out of 40 sanctioned NASCAR events that year. Yet from the outside, the car remained subtly elegant. No wild fins, no over-the-top trim, just clean, restrained design, like a tailored suit hiding a heavyweight punch. This was a car for the executive who liked his meetings in the morning, his quarter-mile runs in the afternoon. A true banker's hot rod, and the genesis of a high-performance dynasty. Number 6, DeSoto Adventurer, Forgotten Fury. In the golden age of fins and firepower, the 1957 DeSoto Adventurer often slips through the cracks. But let's set the record straight. This was no ordinary coupe. It was a wolf in polished chrome. Beneath the surface of this limited production luxury ride beat a 345 cubic inch Hemi heart, belting out an equal 345 horsepower, a staggering figure for the time. Matched with the brand new Torque Flight 3-speed automatic, the Adventurer didn't just move, it surged with grace and authority. Inside, it was all decadence. Leather-trimmed seats, bold two-tone paint, and a cabin dripping in premium materials. Outside, it wore Chrysler's forward-look styling with pride, sculpted lines, glinting chrome, and tail fins that pierced the air like rocket stabilizers. Though DeSoto would fade into history just a few years later, the Adventurer stood tall as the brand's last great performance achievement, a muscle car cloaked in formal wear. Number 5. Chrome Royalty. Nothing captures late 50s American excess like the 1959 Cadillac Eldorado Biarritz. This wasn't just a car, it was a symbol of status, elegance, and unfiltered ambition. Stretching nearly 20 feet long and crowned with the tallest tail fins ever fitted to a production car, the Biarritz rolled down the street like a parade float built for kings. Inside, it was first class all the way, leather, chrome, and luxury at every touchpoint. But don't let the glamour fool you. This Cadillac had muscle. A 390 cubic inch V8 with tri-power carburation churned out 345 horsepower, more than enough to push its 5,000-pound body to 60 mph in under 11 seconds. Not bad for a luxury barge. The Biarritz wasn't built for corners, it was built for commanding highways, turning heads, and making grand entrances. A rolling monument to American confidence and proof that even the most luxurious machines could pack a punch. Number 4. The 1958 Buick Limited Riviera was a behemoth even by 1950 standards. But don't be fooled, this chrome-clad land yacht had bite. Under its massive hood lived a 364 cubic inch Wildcat V8, good for 300 horsepower. That might not sound wild today, but in its time, this was serious strength. especially for a car designed to float rather than fly. Paired with Buick's silky Dynaflow automatic transmission, the Riviera was all about the long game, effortless acceleration, smooth highway cruising, and silence at speed. Its interior was nothing short of palatial, and the design, bold dual headlights, jet-age tail fins, and a grille that could swallow small animals. The limited Riviera wasn't built to race, it was built to dominate the road in comfort and confidence, proving that muscle didn't always have to be loud or lean. Number 3. By 1956, Packard was in its twilight, but it didn't go quietly. Instead, it went out swinging with one of the most exquisite and powerful machines it ever built, the Packard Caribbean. This was the company's last true flagship, and they gave it everything they had. Underneath the long hood was a 374 cubic inch V8, cranking out 310 horsepower, outgunning both Cadillac and Lincoln. But performance wasn't the Caribbean's only calling card. It came loaded with innovation: torsion-level suspension, air conditioning, real leather upholstery, and hand-applied two-tone paint. Whether as a convertible or hardtop, the Caribbean was a rolling sculpture of 1950s excess, with finesse and firepower in equal measure. Though Packard would soon fade from the automotive landscape, the Caribbean remains a shining reminder of what could have been, an American masterpiece built on dignity, speed, and elegance. Number 2, 1956, Chrysler 300B. Before the term muscle car had a home, the Chrysler 300B was already living it. Born as the second installment of Chrysler's prestigious letter series, the 300B wasn't just another luxury coupe, it was a high-speed, heavyweight that redefined what performance could look like in a tuxedo. Under the hood, a 354 cubic inch Hemi V8, output up to 355 horsepower with the optional upgrade, making it the most powerful production car in America at the time. But it wasn't just about numbers. The Hemi's hemispherical combustion chamber gave it jaw-dropping torque and high revving efficiency, years before such terms became buzzwords in Detroit. On the track, it tore through NASCAR circuits. On the road, it topped 130 mph, unheard of, for a nearly 2-ton luxury cruiser. With elegant lines, upscale interiors, and a fighter jet cockpit of sporty dials, the 300B proved that brute force and refinement could ride side by side. This wasn't just a car, it was a declaration. The gentleman's muscle machine had arrived. Number 1. By the close of the 1950s, Detroit was no longer whispering about horsepower, it was shouting it from chrome-drenched rooftops. And standing at the peak of this high-octane mountain was a name that most never saw coming: the 1958 Mercury Super Marauder. This wasn't just a car, it was a challenge, thrown directly at Cadillac, Lincoln, and even Chrysler's mighty 300 series. Mercury, often the quiet middle child of Ford's lineup, suddenly bared its teeth and revealed a monster hiding behind a mask of luxury. Under the hood lay a beast, a 430 cubic inch V8 topped with tri-power carburation, aluminum heads, a high-compression setup, and a performance-tuned ignition system, all engineered to one end, a factory-rated 400 horsepower. Yes, you heard that right, 400. It became the first American production car to reach that milestone, a record that sent shockwaves through the automotive world. But the Super Marauder wasn't just about brute strength, it was sculpted in pure jet-age drama. A wide, aggressive grille, exaggerated body lines, and bullet-style taillights that looked more rocket booster than brake lamp. This was Mercury's moonshot. Built in extremely limited numbers, only a few hundred ever rolled off the line. The Super Marauder remains a mythic unicorn among collectors, a car whispered about at auctions and obsessed over by muscle historians. From the tech-forward brilliance of the fuel-injected Corvette Fuelie to the ground-shaking presence of Grotz, the Mercury Super Marauder, the 1950s were more than just a styling revolution. They were the blueprint for American muscle, a time when engineers dared to chase big dreams, big speed, and big identity. Every car we've covered in this countdown was a turning point, a roar from the past that paved the way for the golden age of muscle to come. Now it's your turn. Which one of these beasts would you have loved to drive? Which deserves a full deep dive here on Regal Rides? Drop your favorite in the comments, and if you haven't already, hit that like button, share this with your fellow gearheads, and subscribe for more stories about forbidden legends, outlawed engines, and the lost heroes buried deep in American automotive history. Until next time, keep your hands on the wheel, your foot on the floor, and your heart in the classics.